The conversation around women and women work seemed to be a very sensitive one. Sending our polls out, we've had a lot of reactions, a lot of feedback, and we are collating them. Should women work? Should women not work? Should women be encouraged to participate in the labor force, or should they be left alone to their own choices? Do stay-at-home wives and mothers who choose to focus solely on domestic work contribute to the economy, or do they not? Should they be encouraged to do more? Should they be encouraged to take on paid labor, or should they be left alone to their own choices? Very interesting answers, but we want to highlight a few of those responses and talk about them. Here's the first question, not the first question we asked, but the first of the questions we are highlighting. And I will read this out from my iPad. The wives and mothers who focus solely on personal and domestic responsibilities contribute to Nigeria's economy. Now, 63.16% of our respondents said yes, they contribute to the economy. That these women who focus solely on domestic responsibilities without adding paid labor do contribute to the economy and to the GDP of Nigeria. And there were varied perspectives to these answers, one being that unpaid labor is valid and contributes to economic balance. And secondly, that these women are contributing by raising the next generation. They are creating stable homes, which leads to a reduction in crime rates. And all of this collectively and individually do strengthen the economy. And we have to say that we agree. Women who do not take on paid roles, who focus solely on domestic responsibilities, actually do contribute to the economy and to the GDP of the country. And they should be recognized for doing so. However, okay, let's leave the however for later. The second question we want to highlight is this. Are there women who are genuinely fulfilled with being wives and mothers, focusing only on personal and domestic responsibilities, without the need for career, business, or paid work beyond the home? Now, 47% of our respondents agreed that this was a matter of orientation. In other words, that these women were only fulfilled or only felt fulfilled because they were trained to be satisfied with this. On the other hand, 33% of our respondents gave an express yes, which is that indeed there are women who are fulfilled by not doing any paid labor at all, but just focusing on their domestic responsibilities and their families. But here's the interesting part. In the next question, we turn the spotlight over to the respondents themselves, and we asked a question, which I will read out. We said, as a woman, would you be content focusing only on home and family without doing any paid work, even remote or freelance? 80% of our respondents said an express no. And the 3% that answered in the positive were men. The other percentage covered those men who did not attempt the survey at all. So that tells us something, right? Then we asked again, just to gauge how much women are really interested in participating in the paid labor force. We asked, as a woman, if you have everything that you need, financial security, support at home, and the freedom to choose, would you still want to pursue a career? Now, 70% answered a direct yes. 70% of women said that if they had everything that they needed, they would still want to pursue a paid career. Now, the rest of the percentage were dedicated to women who used other variables to answer, like probably, definitely, and all of that. But it is illustrative to know that not a single woman said yes to that question. Not a single woman said that they will be content with just focusing on domestic responsibilities without adding paid labor. Again, that tells us something. Now, here's the final question we want to highlight. We asked, do you believe that if stay-at-home women were exposed to options like remote work, freelancing, or flexible work arrangements, that they will be more interested in working beyond personal domestic responsibilities. Now, 46% of our respondents answered in the positive, which is to say that if these women were exposed to more options, they would definitely opt for paid labor. The rest of the people said it was a 50-50% chance, which is that they may or they may not. It depends on the particular woman. Now, what all of this communicates to us is one thing, which is that these options need to be presented. Women need to know that there are possibilities, that there are more options available to them right now. As seen in the responses, many of the women who choose to focus only on domestic responsibilities without adding paid labor do so as a matter of orientation. And many other women do so because they are not aware of the options that are made available to them. So what this tells us is that we need to do a reorientation. We need to make all the options available to them so that they can choose right. Because a choice is not really a choice if all the options are not presented. Now, women can afford to do so much more than focusing only on domestic responsibilities. While it is a prerogative of any woman who decides this way, what we are saying is that women should be made to know. They should be made to know so that they can make the right choice according to their needs and their interests.